We've spent most of our childhood watching and loving Disney movies. They all had simple themes, with a solid story and a positive message. These films introduced us to fairy tales and have made us fall in love with the characters. These characters became our friends and formed an integral part of our childhood. If you want to watch a no-brainer film, then vintage Disney movies should be your pick. But some of the characters in these films aren't as sane as they seem. If they existed in real life, we'd take into account their behavioral pattern and judge them as people who suffer from mental illnesses. The Queen from Snow White is a narcissistic person. Narcissism is the libidinal complement to the egoism of the instinct of self-preservation. It refers to excessive love and concern for oneself, or extreme admiration for one's beauty and talents. The Queen epitomizes all the traits of a narcissist as pointed out by experts. She not only desires to be a beautiful woman on Earth, but also wants to destroy anything more beautiful. Freud introduced another significant term in association with narcissism called narcissistic injury, which is anything that can threaten the pride of a narcissist. In the case of the Queen, it is Snow White's beauty that poses a threat to her pride. However, her instinct to kill Snow White arises out of her narcissistic rage. It is a direct reaction to narcissistic injury. The vengeance of such a person against the object which poses a threat to them can lead them to a peculiar kind of revenge. This narcissistic revenge of the Queen is the reason for her constant urge to kill Snow White. Her sense of revenge is so profound that she attempts 4 times to destroy Snow White. Misogyny is the hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women or girls. It enforces sexism by punishing those who reject an inferior status for women and rewarding those who accept it. Gaston from Beauty and the Beast is a misogynist. Gaston's view of women is extremely sexist and misogynistic even by the standards of the time in which the film takes place. While he appears charming to all the other women of the village, such as the Bimbettes, Belle is the only woman in the entire town to be able to see him for what he is from the very start of the film. He believes that women like Belle are not supposed to be smart, think for themselves, or get ideas, and he even tosses Belle's book into the mud in an attempt to get her to focus on more important things. Jafar, ASPD. Jafar is portrayed as an immoral sociopath who will not hesitate to destroy anyone he perceives as a threat to his sinister designs. Like numerous clinically diagnosed sociopaths, Jafar wears a metaphorical mask of normalcy throughout the film, establishing himself as a cool-headed schemer and gaining the trust of those around him, despite his rather untrustworthy physical appearance. Even with this mask, Jafar's psychopathic tendencies tend to seep through and become apparent to the viewer, particularly in the opening sequence where Jafar, outside immediate initial anger over Gaston the thief not being the one who is the diamond in the rough, displays no remorse in sending Gaston to his death in the Cave of Wonders, simply proclaiming that Gaston was less than worthy in a rather dry tone of voice. It is not until Jafar gains control of the genie's lamp that he fully shows his true colors, becoming arrogant, tyrannical, and ill-tempered with his subjects. Tamatoa the crab from Moana. Body dysmorphic disorder. Body dysmorphic disorder, or body dysmorphia, is a mental health condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance. These flaws are often unnoticeable to others. This disorder is also reflected in the behavior of Tamatoa's character from Moana. Tamatoa is extremely narcissistic. With the superiority complex, he views himself as beautiful, and others as irrelevant and disposable. Unlike Moana, Tala, and Maui, Tamatoa does not believe in inner beauty or listening to your heart. Instead, he views anyone who is not physically attractive or outwardly strong as insignificant and lesser than him, albeit perfectly fit for a meal. This is his biggest flaw and ultimately causes his downfall, as he underestimated Moana's intelligence because she's a human, which allowed her to best the villainous crustacean. The Beast in Beauty and the Beast, depression. Not shown throughout the entire movie, the Beast faces depression when he lets Belle leave. He mopes around doing absolutely nothing. When the staff asks him what they should do because the castle is under attack, he says it doesn't matter. Without Belle, he doesn't see a point in continuing in life. He has lost his love and his chance at being human again. Even when Gaston comes in and shows the Beast that he will be firing an arrow at him, he doesn't fight back. When Belle returns, however, this depression goes away as quickly as its onset. This shows that not only was he extremely depressed, but he has conditioned himself to only feel happiness from Belle. Belle is like a drug to the Beast, and when he faces withdrawals, he cannot find happiness until he finds Belle again, which is quite tragic. Pinocchio, pathological liar. Pinocchio syndrome is known in psychiatry by the name of pathological lying, or also by the name mythomania. Some researchers of the human mind indicate that this pathology is characterized by the inevitable compulsion to lie. The liar tends to be fully immersed in their lies, believing it themselves. Unlike Pinocchio, it is both hard for others to indicate when someone is a pathological liar, and for the liar to confront their lies as a non-truth. However, some signs can help to distinguish a pathological liar from someone who just simply lies once in a while, as we all do. King Triton from The Little Mermaid, xenophobic. Xenophobia is typically rooted in the perception that members of the out-group are foreign to the in-group community. One of the xenophobic characters in Disney movies is King Triton. Triton is prejudiced towards humans, possibly because of the death of his wife. Although Athena's death was an accident, and despite evidence that merpeople are half human, he may have had genocidal thoughts on humans generally, or at the very least, didn't particularly care if a human ended up drowning, as when arguing with Ariel shortly after discovering that she saved Eric. His eruptive nature when pushed too far was also shown to lead to violent acts, as he destroyed most of Ariel's human artifacts as the simplest way to get through to her, after the possibility of losing his daughter to the human world was brought into play. Captain Hook, PTSD. Most of his issues can stem back to the horrific incident that occurred when Peter Pan chopped off his hand and fed it to a crocodile. In fact, given those tragic events, is it any wonder that he continues to lash out at Peter and his crew in a desperate effort to maintain some measure of control? What's even worse is that this crocodile continues to hunt poor Hook. With the alarm clock in its belly, its presence is always accompanied by a tick-tocking, sending the captain into a blind panic. It's a perpetual state of terror, fueling his PTSD as he relives that terrible event. It isn't just the crocodile that causes him to break. Any ticking clock will inflict the trauma. It's this disorder that prevents him from breaking the vicious cycle he has found himself in, hunting Peter Pan, desperate to exact revenge. Dory from Finding Dory. Anterograde amnesia. Anterograde amnesia in humans is most associated with anterior temporal damage to the hippocampus, or the memory center of the brain. In Finding Nemo, repetition helps Dory to keep her attention on the task, but as soon as her concentration is broken, the rehearsed information is lost. These problems in encoding new informations, Speyer's notes, are hallmarks of anterograde amnesia. There are many causes of short and long-term memory loss: injuries to the brain from accidents, infections such as encephalitis, or diseases of the brain such as Alzheimer's. Ian Lightfoot, low self-confidence. Disney's newest animated film Onward tells the story of two brothers on an epic journey to speak with their late father one last time. Over the course of their adventure, the brothers learn important life lessons on self-confidence and what it means to find yourself. Ian is the protagonist of Onward, and therefore the youngest member of the Lightfoot family. Ian could be a pretty shy and introvert kid, especially at the start. He talks softly, keeps to himself, doesn't mind spending time alone. He seems too pessimistic and insecure, which makes him fight together with his brother, and unable to try and do plenty of spells initially. Ian is scared of driving at the beginning of the movie. Check out one of our newest videos here. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more videos about your favorite Disney and Marvel characters and the psychology behind them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.